Let's carry on with the file from our previous example and let's begin drilling and tapping our holes. To get started, I'm going to navigate to the Home tab and select Analyze Entity to double check the size of both of our holes. The first hole is a .136, which is the drill size to tap an 832 hole. The second one is a .201. So from our Toolpath tab, we're going to select 2D, Drill, and we need to start by selecting points. I'm going to use the Auto Cursor dropdown and Arc Center, and then the lock icon to lock in that option, so that way I can quickly select all the holes I want to drill. This will prevent me from accidentally selecting a quadrant point on any of these arcs. Once done, I'm going to change it back to Auto Cursor and unlock. With our specific example, we may need to change the height at which we jump over this section. We can do that easily by using the Change at a Point option directly inside of the hole definition. We can change the jump height, clearance height, retract height, the depth of the cut, the feed rate, the dwell, or a stop. In our specific case, we're going to see what the toolpath looks like first before we make any changes. I'm going to use the green check mark to say OK, then select tool number 1. I'm going to comment this as Spot Drill, and under Cut Parameters, make sure that we're set to Drill Counterbore. Under Linking Parameters, in this specific case, I'm not going to use clearance. I'm going to use .05 retract. For top of stock, I want to set to the upper edge. And for the depth, we're going to base this off of our selection, but use the calculator icon to add additional depth. This calculates additional depth based on the diameter of the tool. Once we say OK, we'll note that it adds .037. I think that's not quite enough, so I'm going to add .06 and say OK. In this case, we can see that the tool is jumping over just fine without adding any additional height. One thing you might want to do is select the previous operation as well to see where the tool ends on the previous operation and how it jumps to the next operation. In our case, we want to add a few more operations because we've only started by spot drilling the 6 holes. So I'm going to hold down the right mouse button once I have Toolpath 11 selected, drag it down to my insertion point, and select Copy After. Note that when we do this, it leaves the insertion point, so you want to make sure to push it down below the operation. We then are going to go into Parameters and modify some of our parameters. We're going to start by changing the tool. We're going to be drilling a 136 hole, so we'll select tool number 2. And we want to change the comment type to 0.136 drill. Under Cut Parameters, we're going to change the type to Peck Drill, and for now we're going to leave all the default settings. Under Linking Parameters, we will need to change the depth. So I'm going to use the Select option, and because this is a blind hole, I want to make sure that I select it. We'll be going down 0.25.
We're going to say OK, and because this was a copy operation that we changed, we'll need to regenerate it.
So now we're doing a drill, as well as a peck operation. It's hard to tell the difference, but as we select, notice that the total depth of the toolpath is changing. Now we want to go back and we want to drill the larger .201 holes. So I'm going to hold down the right mouse button again on operation 12 this time, and Copy After. Again, I'm going to make sure I push the insertion point down and modify the parameters. The first thing that we need to do here is go back to Toolpath Type and change the point geometry. We've already selected and drilled the 2 smaller holes to their max diameter, so we want to make sure that we remove them from our selection. So in point 2, we want to right-click and delete, and for point 5, we want to right-click and delete. Now we're going to say OK. We're going to modify our tool to make sure that it's the .201 drill, tool number 4, and we're going to modify the comment to be .201. We will have to go into the linking parameters and change the depth. The 1/4 inch depth was actually deeper than the yellow section that we're looking at. You can see that this depth is minus -0.125. In our case, we want to take it down a little bit farther. We're actually going to go down -375 and say OK. Let's regenerate that, and let's see where that tool comes to. It comes well into the counterbore on the other side, so that means that it'll be very easy for us to start machining that section and ensure that the hole's in the correct location. The next thing that we need to do is tap the two smaller holes. The last operation we had that selected those two holes was operation number 12. So I'm going to copy that after and modify its parameters. First, I want to change the tool that we're using. In this case, we'll be tapping 832, and I'm going to change the comment to 832 tap. For cut parameters, we need to change it to tap, and for linking parameters, we want to modify the depth. This is a blind hole, and we are using a bottoming tap, but we want to make sure we don't go all the way to the bottom. Even though the drill will leave a small point for clearance, we're going to reduce this to 0.225. This will also help us prevent any chips from getting stuck in the bottom and causing the tap to break. Once we're done, let's regenerate that operation. Notice that it's using the tap on all 6 holes. So we're going to select geometry, and we're going to delete 0.1, 0.3, 0.4, and 0.6. So now we're only tapping the 2 smaller holes, and we'll regenerate one more time. Let's go ahead and select toolpath number 11, hold down the Shift key, and select tool number 14, and then let's do a quick backplot. We want to speed this up just a little bit, and we want to make sure that the 2 holes, and that we didn't omit anything. You can see here it's skipping the 2 smaller holes, and then it goes back and it taps them. So far everything looks good. So let's save our file so we can move on to the next step.